you ever put your friend's business out on social media?
Yeah.
Why?
They do it to me.
Who?
Young Miami.
No, she don't.
Yeah, she do.
What she said about you?
She said a lot.
No, she don't.
She put my personal business out there. That's how I started Crucial Please, because she just kept naming multiple men that I was dating just to the world.
So you're a cheater?
No, I was dating multiple men. I would have to
At
be
what
in a
time?
relationship to be cheating on somebody.
Right.
I'm a bachelor, an eligible bachelor. That's what you...
In the world of celebrity friendships, betrayals usually play out behind closed doors. But when it comes to Saucy Santana and Young Miami, the curtains are getting ripped wide open, and what's being revealed is wilder than anyone could have imagined. Out of nowhere, Santana has stepped forward with claims that don't just shake the foundation of his friendship with Miami. They place her at the center of the storm currently surrounding Sean Diddy Combs. From leaked messages to whispered rumors about private gatherings, Santana says he's got proof that Young Miami's connection to Diddy was never what she made it seem. But here's the part that's leaving fans stunned. According to Santana, their fallout wasn't just about shady behavior or clout chasing. It was about being dragged into something darker. Something that's now playing out in federal courtrooms. And with Santana pulling receipts, revealing voice memos, and naming names, the question isn't just what happened. It's how deep this story really goes, and whether Young Miami is the innocent bestie she claims to be, or a key player in one of hip-hop's most twisted scandals. It all started with a moment that most fans brushed off as harmless. During an episode of Kershaw Please, Young Miami casually brought up Saucy Santana's dating life, joking about the multiple men he was allegedly seeing at once. The energy seemed playful on the surface, just two best friends chopping it up on camera. But behind Santana's smile was a growing sense of betrayal he never voiced, until now. According to Santana, that moment wasn't entertainment, it was exposure. He claims Miami aired out personal, intimate details about him without permission, using his real-life situations as content. That wasn't friendship, he says, it was exploitation. And that moment, viewed millions of times online, became the beginning of their slow and silent unraveling. To the public, Santana and Miami still looked tight. They posed for pictures, exchanged love on social media, and appeared at events like nothing had changed. But privately, the damage was done. Santana says he started pulling back, and what looked like friendship was just a performance held together by history and habit. What he didn't know then was that their dynamic and his name would soon be dragged into something way bigger. Because while everyone was laughing at that interview clip, court documents were being prepared. And the name Saucy Santana was allegedly already on the radar of someone ready to expose everything. The cracks in the surface widened when a shocking name surfaced in court: Jane Doe, an alleged ex-girlfriend of Sean Diddy Combs. Her testimony didn't just target the music mogul. She pulled others into the spotlight with her, claiming that both Saucy Santana and Young Miami were part of a complicated web Diddy had quietly spun behind the scenes. In her sworn statement, Jane painted a picture no one saw coming: a secret triangle between herself, Diddy, and Young Miami. According to her, the public was sold a watered-down version of the truth, one that painted Young Miami as a fling, a fun party girl kept at a safe public distance. But behind closed doors, Jane claimed their connection was deeper, more committed, and more emotionally tangled than anyone let on. What really set her off, though, wasn't just the emotional betrayal, it was the public disrespect. She described the moment she saw Diddy lavish Young Miami with the now infamous Maybach gift, splashing their dynamic across the internet for all to see, while she, the long-term girlfriend, remained hidden in the shadows. According to Jane, that public humiliation pushed her to confront Diddy, demanding he treat her equally, shower her with the same kind of attention, gifts, and acknowledgement he gave to Miami. But instead of healing anything, the confrontation only cracked the silence open wider. And that's when her story took an even darker turn. Because her connection to Young Miami wasn't just emotional competition. She claimed that what Miami was doing behind the scenes was far more layered and possibly dangerous. As the court filings unfolded, the tone shifted from emotional turmoil to disturbing logistics. Jane Doe didn't just feel betrayed by Diddy's relationship with Young Miami. She began piecing together what she believed was a larger, secretive network of exclusive, invite-only events happening behind the scenes. She described them as freak-offs, a term that quickly caught fire on social media. According to Jane, these weren't ordinary parties. They were private gatherings with elite guests, carefully controlled environments, and unsettling expectations. And one name that kept surfacing at these events was Saucy Santana. Jane claimed that she personally recognized Santana at multiple freak-off functions, suggesting that he wasn't just a guest, but played an undisclosed professional role. Whether that meant hosting, coordinating, or something else entirely remains unclear. But her testimony implied a level of involvement that went far beyond being in the wrong place at the wrong time. What shocked people even more was the origin of Santana's alleged introduction into that world. Jane didn't blame Diddy. She claimed it was young Miami who first brought Santana into those inner circles. The idea that Miami, known publicly for her sharp tongue and glamorous lifestyle, was quietly acting as a connector behind closed doors sent social media into a frenzy. And suddenly, this wasn't just a story about betrayal. It was a story about recruitment, exposure, and blurred lines between fame, power, and secrecy. For Santana, being named in that context didn't just raise eyebrows, it raised serious questions. Was he just an innocent +1 who got pulled into the wrong room? Or was there something deeper he was finally ready to expose? Jane Doe's claims didn't stop with vague references. They became disturbingly specific. One of the most explosive moments in her testimony centered on an event that allegedly took place in Las Vegas in January 2024. She described the scene vividly: a luxury suite, dim lights, A-list guests, and an atmosphere that felt more orchestrated than spontaneous. Among those present, she claimed, was a world-famous rapper, never named directly, but referred to in court by a lawyer as an icon in the music industry. Alongside him, a male entertainer who, according to Jane, was none other than Saucy Santana. This wasn't the first time she had allegedly spotted him, but this moment stood out. Jane said the energy felt calculated, almost like roles were assigned, and everyone had a purpose. And once again, Santana didn't appear to be a random attendee. He was, in her words, functioning, suggesting involvement beyond simply showing up. Her account of that night mirrored others she referenced: curated guest lists, specific expectations, and a blurred line between high-end partying and something far less innocent. What raised even more concern was her insistence that these events weren't one-offs. They were patterns. She claimed that seeing Santana at more than one of these gatherings confirmed for her that this was part of something regular, something that operated in private while the public remained clueless. And if what she was saying had any truth, then Santana was far more entangled in this underground network than anyone realized. The internet started to buzz. Who was the unnamed rapper? Why were these events described with such secrecy? And more importantly, if Santana was involved, why hadn't he said anything sooner? If Jane Doe's account of Las Vegas shocked people, what came next shattered any illusion of coincidence. According to her testimony, shortly after attending another freak-off event, this one hosted by a different rapper entirely, Diddy's attitude toward her changed dramatically. She claimed that Diddy confronted her, not with casual curiosity, but with full-blown anger. He allegedly demanded to know why she had gone to an event outside of us. That phrase stuck with people, especially as speculation grew about how tightly Diddy controlled access to these elite gatherings. Jane's suspicion? Someone told him, and her eyes turned towards Saucy Santana. She believed that Santana had informed Diddy about her attendance at the other party. Whether it was jealousy, loyalty, or just Diddy needing to keep tabs on everyone involved, the confrontation sent a message. Nothing that happened in those circles stayed quiet. This opened a whole new wave of speculation, not just about what Santana knew, but who he was loyal to. Was he trying to protect Diddy? Was he cleaning up loose ends? Or had he just accidentally stepped into the role of informant by being too close to the inner circle for his own good? Santana's silence during that period didn't help. His public image remained playful and unbothered, but behind the scenes, things were clearly spiraling. Jane's story painted him as someone caught between two powerful forces, Diddy and Miami, both of whom had their own secrets, agendas, and reasons to keep Santana close. And suddenly, what once looked like clout-chasing friendships now looked like quiet survival. The question was no longer was Santana there? It became, how much did he really know? Once Santana's name began circulating in connection with Diddy's alleged private gatherings, the internet did what it always does: dig, dissect, and speculate. Almost overnight, timelines were flooded with theories, screenshots of old interviews, blurry photos from exclusive parties, and cryptic tweets from Santana himself, all pieced together like clues. In a conspiracy at the center of it all, there was a single question that no one could ignore. What exactly does Saucy Santana do behind the scenes? Fans and critics alike began scrutinizing his lifestyle. The designer bags, first-class flights, and VIP access to some of the most elite circles in hip-hop suddenly looked different. Some Twitter users questioned whether Santana's rapid rise in visibility and luxury living was connected to more than just music and social media influence. Whispers grew louder, suggesting that Santana's income wasn't just from performances and brand deals, but possibly from high-profile, under-the-table arrangements with powerful industry figures. These weren't claims rooted in proof, but the timing of everything gave them fuel. And then there was the fact that Santana wasn't backing down. Instead of disappearing from social media or issuing blanket denials, he started clapping back. Cryptic captions, subtweets, and shady replies made it clear he wasn't afraid, and he wasn't about to let anyone else control the narrative. But in a scandal this layered, silence often speaks louder than denial. And as the accusations mounted, Santana's flashy lifestyle became less of a flex and more of a question mark. People wanted answers, and Santana, it seemed, was finally ready to give them. When the internet reached a boiling point, Saucy Santana did what most didn't expect. He didn't retreat, he retaliated. But this time, it wasn't with sass or subtext. It was with receipts. Real ones, allegedly. According to multiple sources and commentary swirling online, Santana began releasing what he claimed were actual pieces of evidence tying both himself and Young Miami deeper into Diddy's inner circle. Voice memos, screenshots of text messages, emails, and even blurred-out video clips surfaced, each one allegedly more damning than the last. These weren't vague posts or attention grabs. They were carefully curated drops designed to shift public perception. And the story they told? That Young Miami's connection to Diddy wasn't casual, wasn't shallow, and most definitely wasn't innocent. Santana implied that Miami wasn't just a girl sitting poolside with a billionaire. She was actively involved behind the scenes, allegedly helping Diddy move things, plan things, and arrange certain deliveries, as referenced in legal documents connected to other lawsuits. One particularly explosive moment centered around claims from a separate plaintiff known publicly as Lil Rod. In one legal filing, it was stated that during a major rehearsal for a music festival, Diddy requested certain items be brought to him, items never fully detailed in the document. The delivery? Allegedly handled by none other than Young Miami, who is said to have used a private jet to get it done. Santana, trying to distance himself, claimed he never participated in anything illegal or explicit. But his presence at those events, and his knowledge of what was happening, put him in the hot seat anyway. Still, the biggest shock wasn't that Santana had information, it was that he held onto it for so long. And that silence, many now believe, may have been part of a larger strategy, one rooted in fear, protection, or maybe something far more calculated. With everything spiraling into chaos, the question still lingered in the minds of fans and insiders alike. Why now? Why did Santana choose this exact moment, at the peak of Diddy's legal disaster, to start revealing these long-hidden truths? Some believe it all ties back to a personal fracture, one that started years ago but was never fully healed. According to sources close to the situation, Santana and Young Miami had quietly fallen out long before this controversy exploded. At the heart of that fallout, allegations that Miami had tried to pressure Santana into forming a closer, more personal bond with Diddy. Santana allegedly pushed back, saying he wasn't interested in Diddy, romantically, financially, or professionally, especially knowing how close Miami was to him at the time. Santana says the situation felt inappropriate and uncomfortable, but instead of backing off, Miami allegedly kept pushing. The tension grew, the friendship fractured, and while they eventually reappeared in public together, seemingly reconciled, Santana now claims it was all for show. He says the apology was never sincere, and the wounds never healed. If anything, the fake smiles only made it worse. But what really stunned people were his next claims. Santana said it wasn't just him. Young Miami, he alleged, had tried to involve others too, dragging more people into Diddy's world, whether they wanted to be there or not. One name that stood out, Coi Leray, referred to mockingly in transcripts and online chatter as croissant. An incident at one of Diddy's 2023 events raised eyebrows when Coi appeared visibly uncomfortable during a moment where Diddy allegedly leaned in to kiss her. Though the video was short and inconclusive, the awkward tension was clear. Later footage showed Coi and Young Miami dancing together, seemingly unbothered. But then Blueface's mother entered the chat. In a viral post, she accused Young Miami of trying to recruit Coi into Diddy's circle, adding fuel to an already burning fire. Now, with Santana speaking out, and the timing aligning perfectly with federal investigations, it's hard not to wonder, Was this about vindication? Revenge? Or finally breaking free from something none of them should have been near in the first place?